May the 22nd, 2022 signifies 5 years from the horrendous Manchester bombing attack, and Ariana Grande's mental health has been challenged more times in her short 29 years of existence than most people have in a lifetime. But she's been relatively out of the spotlight in the last few months, which, trust me, is a good thing. But in this video, we're gonna go through what Ariana Grande's journey has been over the last 5 years, and a little bit of background about her, how she grew into notoriety, and how we can learn from that to put it into our own lives and experiences. Don't know who I am? My name is Saramed, and I'm a doctor working in London. I make videos about celebrity health so we can learn and apply those things to our family and friends and even ourselves. So if that's something you're into, hit subscribe and you will stay informed. Now, Ariana Grande was born in a place called Boca Raton in Florida. She is the daughter of Joan Grande and Edward Butera. Her mom was a CEO of a multinational communications and manufacturing company, and her father owned his own graphics design firm in Boca Raton. She started out her theatrical career in Fort Lauderdale Theatre Company and securing a few roles there, and then slowly managed to get a big break in LA, where she was casted by Nickelodeon for the famous series called Victorious, and that's where she really started growing in popularity and her vocals started to blossom. She then moved up in her career through a variety of albums, and notably in 2016 she started the Dangerous Woman tour, which also the name of one of the key songs, and that gained huge popularity. Got about 670 million views on YouTube now, which is absolutely huge. And unfortunately 2017, when she was performing a concert in Manchester, which was where I went to university and I was a student there at the time, there was a terrorist attack. Now that really shook things up, and it was really one of the first big mental health shocks that Ariana Grande had. She also struggled when between 8 and 9 years old. She had to deal with her parents' separation, but nothing was of this magnitude, and at the time she thought she would never sing again. She had post-traumatic stress disorder and developed anxiety as a result of that bombing, and really had to seek a lot of therapy for that, but we can talk about what kind of treatments she got a little bit later. She also in 2016 ended up in a relationship with a guy called Mac Miller, who unfortunately had a drug problem, and she broke up their relationship in 2018, which is about 4 months before he had taken an accidental overdose, unfortunately, and died from cocaine, fentanyl, and alcohol use. Now, very interestingly, Ariana Grande got together with Pete Davidson in May 2018 and got engaged almost instantly after their first date, and the same month that she had broken up with Mac Miller, her ex-boyfriend. So the unfortunate death of her ex-partner was in September 2018, and then she broke off the engagement around about a month later, around October 2018. In November 2018, you can see that her music style changed, and she released a very popular song named Thank You Next. You may have heard of it, where she actually included the name of Pete Davidson, and talks about moving on to her next relationship. Now, it wasn't until later on, around about 2020, that things started to go public with her current husband, whose name is Dalton Gomez, who's an LA real estate agent, and they announced their engagement in December 2020 and were married in May 2021, which I'm very, very happy to see that she managed to find the love of her life, and she seems to be quite settled with him now. Now, if you look at the way Ariana Grande speaks directly after the Manchester bombing incident, she really had struggled. She was very tearful. Some parts of her seem a little bit hopeless.
You know, some dark shit out there, man.
It is.
So we just have to, like, be there for each other as much as we can.
But she still clung on to some of the community support that she got by both her fans and the city of Manchester, and that helped her to rally back up. Take a look at this video where Ariana speaks about her journey back.
Seeing people be there for one another and help each other heal, and therapy and time, everything, you know, you find the light eventually. And it's still, you know, a work in progress, but I think the sense of community that I saw in response to what happened was the best example of humanity.
It wasn't an easy journey, and you can certainly see that she developed post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a type of quite severe anxiety which happens to people when they undergo a very serious traumatic event. It can be a car crash, another accident of some sort, type of terrorist attack as she went through, or even a breakup. Now, when people get post-traumatic stress disorder, they kind of have a variety of symptoms. These include flashbacks of the event, even when they're not at the area that the event actually happened. They can get irritability, they can struggle to maintain relationships, which shows when she broke up with her ex Mac Miller. Although there were some other issues there, he had a drug problem before they'd broken up, so she probably lost the ability, the resources to be able to support him in that relationship. And you can also get insomnia as well. Now, she obviously needed treatment for that, and she mentions about how she got in therapy to be able to get through things. It's likely that people with PTSD will improve over time. The longer after the event, the better they will be able to recover, but you can't rely on just that, and sometimes medical therapy is needed. Particularly mirtazapine as an antidepressant is helpful because it acts also as an anti-anxiety medication in this sense and helps people to sleep at night. And then there are forms of therapy as well. These can be different types. So one is trauma-based cognitive behavioral therapy, where you basically change the way the person thinks about the traumatic event, and helps them in a controlled manner to be able to deal with the pain that they went through, both psychological and potentially even physical. There's also eye movement desensitization therapy, which is another different type of therapy and works very well for people with PTSD. So now looking forward, we had some interesting changes of music style after this event with Ariana. She went from this seductive style with Dangerous Woman to her tour, which was called Sweetener. She created something called Get Well Soon, which unfortunately only has around 17 million. I mean, only 17 million. But compared to her Dangerous Woman song, which has almost 40 times the number of views, really wasn't popular. If you think about the meaning of that, people at that point thought that Ariana would never come back.
Mental health is so important. People don't pay enough mind to it because we have things to do. We have schedules, we have jobs, we have, kids and places to be, and pressure to fit in, and Instagram stories, whatever you're trying to put on facade, trying to keep up. People don't pay attention to what's happening inside. I'm so sorry, I'm falling apart. Yeah, that's why I felt like it was important. I just wanted to give people a hug musically.
And she actually managed to come out and create a song to try and be a little bit uplifting and inspiring to her fans that were going through a difficult time with her, especially the ones in Manchester who were there at the event. So that Sweetener album really, because of its uplifting and more positive nature, it didn't get much publicity at all, even though it was quite meaningful. It is sad to see, and I think if more people knew about what the meaning of that this collection of songs was, then they would be more likely to share it. But either way, she managed to move forward, and she seems to be happy in her new relationship. Her music style has changed, and one of her most recent songs is Just Look Up, and it's a really powerful tune. It's associated with the movie, and it has an environmental impact as well, basically talking about the imminent climate change threats to the world that we have, and that we need to act on that. So I'm really happy to see that she's back on her feet. Whenever you see her now, she seems to be in a place of strong mental health, and I think she serves as an example for all people who suffer with anxiety and other mental health conditions, that with the right frame of mind you truly can conquer your own demons. And I think there's a quote by Robert Downey Jr. where he says that the hard part is not to change, the hard part is to decide to change. And I think as part of this, it's very easy for some fans to say that actually Ariana Grande was the cause of Mac Miller's unfortunate passing. I think we really need to step away from that, because she was clearly going through a difficult time on her own, and she tried to help him as much as she could over those 2 years. She had to prioritize her own mental health. So absolutely she did not cause his death, and blaming her would not be helpful for anyone. Either way, we wish him peace and hope he's in a better place. And we hope Ariana Grande continues to perform and to grow in her career. She's only 29 and has many more wonderful years to give us, which we're all looking forward to. I hope you found this video useful. If you do have friends with anxiety, it might be worth sharing it with them. And I think this story is so motivational and interesting to see someone go through hell and come back to be able to generate a new life and be back in the public eye and positive. Really quite inspiring story. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you found this video interesting, you may find a video on Billie Eilish and her Tourette syndrome interesting. I wish you the best of health. Stay healthy, stay happy. I'm Sarah, take care.